Chelsea. I know how to find Malthael, but you will not like what I have to tell you.
What is it?
There is only one person who knows how to find Malthael. She waits for you in the Blood Marsh, and you know her well. Adria.
Adria.
Adria is not as you remember her. She is channeling blood magic to prepare herself to retrieve the Black Soul Stone.
Explain.
Some things cannot be explained. You must see them for yourself.
I'm going to walk away now.
You have no sense of adventure.
You've had an interesting life, I'd say.
Oh, I could tell you stories. We were frequently set upon by bandits. It became quite tiresome, really. One time, I had had enough. I know this is hard to believe, but when I was younger, I was even more vivacious than I am now. So I seduced their leader, convinced him to free us by giving him details on how he could rob a local magistrate. He'd heard the Vetchen could predict the future, so he believed me. They were caught and hung 3 days later. I must have forgotten to tell him that part of my vision.
Not going anywhere without me.
And why is that?
Someone has to make sure you don't kill Adria before you find out where Malthael is.
Come if you want, but Adria is going to pay for what she did to Leah. Urzael and the Reapers are dead. Now the people of Westmarch can begin to rebuild their city and their lives. Lorath and I depart for the Blood Marsh to confront Adria. She knows how to find Malthael, but more importantly, there is a blood debt between us, and she will pay it.
We hid the Black Soul Stone in the deepest part of the Nephilim ruins near here. We thought it would be safe, but Malthael found it all the same.
The first time I saw a witch, she burned. Father took me to the town square to see it. Look, he said, that is the face of evil. But she looked like any other woman, and burned like anything else. Then the flames engulfed her. Her eyes found mine, and she laughed.
This is the entrance to the tomb, but someone's collapsed it.
Adria.
It looks like we'll have to find another way into the ruins. What was that?
Not yet. My wrath is low.
This was just one entrance to the city. There are guide stones littered across the Blood Marsh that will lead us to the main one. The guide stones are useless to most, but will reveal the correct path to a Nephilim such as yourself.
You never stop trying, Adria. I'll say that for you.
Remember to get the information we need before you...
Right.
Well, that's not very reassuring.
I'll father could never understand. He was born into privilege and wealth, and he spent every moment of his life trying to protect it. I was his flesh and blood, but he cared more about the names in books and the faces of the paintings on the walls than his living daughter. Do you know what fear is? The fear of who you are. The fear of what your own blood would do if they knew what you were. No, you could never understand it. People look to you as a savior. Have you ever thought about the lives you've taken? They were fathers, lovers, daughters. He asked me what I see when I look into the fire. I see a burning man. I see a burning witch. I see terror and a hunger that will consume everything. What hope do the works of men have against such all-consuming hunger? I gave myself to the flames.
This is one of the guide stones, but nothing happens when I approach it.
Let me try.
There are 4 entrances to the Nephilim city, each one etched with a sigil. Only the correct one marks the true entrance to the tomb, however. When you activate these stones, one of the wrong sigils disappears.
My father burned. He screamed as the flames consumed him, and the smell was sickly sweet. He had found me. For once in his life he had noticed me. And when he saw that the flames did not touch me, he breathed one word. It was his last.
Not the right passage.
I have uncovered and obscured an ancient tome in whose pages is recorded an impossible tale. The secret history of a race called the Nephilim, gods by another name, and their ruined civilization in the West. If this is true, how could all signs of these Nephilim be lost, but for the record of this single tome? The Nephilim were not gods, but our own ancestors, gifted with long life, magic, and abilities far beyond ours. Yet they were still men. I wonder if these pages hold the key to unlock their powers once again.
Died here.
I wonder how many of them haven't.
I'll have to find another guide stone to learn which sigil shows the correct entrance. Definitely not the right passage.
I will bring the light of Zakarum to the heathens. Here in the east, the power of Zakarum wanes, but in the west it will rise, stronger and greater than ever. Yet I have another purpose. The lost Nephilim city of Corvus lies in the west. I will find it.
Back entrance into the tomb of Rackus would save so much time.
We founded a settlement near the Western Sea. It will grow to be a great city in time. Now that my people are settled, I can begin my own search for the ruins of the Nephilim city, Corvus. The tome implied that it was near this very region.
Witch, they called me, but I turned it against them. When their daughter had a child that needed to disappear, when there was a sickness that none of the healers could cure, who was it they pleaded with? When they needed me, the morality they flaunted in the daylight disappeared, as it always does.
Zale, I am glad you are well.
Who is this?
I am Zale, a necromancer who seeks to maintain the balance.
Plus Haza Haradrim.
That's my friend Humbard. He's a skull. Please ignore him.
Zale helped Tyrael steal the Black Soul Stone from heaven.
I did, but I was not in the tomb when Malthael struck.
If he was, Zale would have shown that angel what it means to cross a necromancer.
That's enough, Humbart.
What are you doing out in the bog?
This place is falling to deep imbalance. Something is very wrong here, and I wish to heal the land.
The sickness here is Adria, and I mean to kill her.
Well, that's taken care of. Let's go get a drink.
Even after she is slain, equilibrium will not immediately be restored. It will take time.
Always so serious.
I knew that we learned to live in this different time. I was the most worldly of us.
Surprising.
Really? Do I seem so out of place?
Remember that moment with the fishwife, that jug of milk, and the pitchfork?
I would rather not speak of it.
This is the right passage.
We have begun searching the marsh for the ruins of Corvus. This stinking, festering swamp is punctuated by worn blocks of stone. Perhaps these ancient sentinels are all that remain of the proud Nephilim city. No, there is more to be found. I know it.
Much for him at first. But Linden is beginning to grow on me.
Really?
He pretends to be quite kind. But I think that beneath it all, he is a very nice man.
I wouldn't mention that to Cormac.
He pretends that he does not like Linden, but I think he really does.
Last night, I found the ruined Nephilim city. When I stepped into the buried catacombs, I felt a stirring in my blood. And then a wondrous thing. A dim light began to glow all around me, not cast by any torch. It was as though the very stones acknowledged my presence. The Nephilim had such a strong connection to the light that it granted them powers far beyond our own. But I believe that through the light they can be reborn in us. Thus I have consecrated Westmarch, a shining beacon in the west. I have taken for my sigil the Wolf of Corvus, and proclaimed myself king.
Happen when you die.
My apprentice will take up my shield and my name, while I go to join the other Crusaders. And you?
I think it will be like going to sleep once again. But this time, I will not awaken.
A decade later, the power of the Nephilim still escapes me. Something long ago stole it from them and keeps it hidden, even today. I have found mention of an artifact called the World Stone, hidden in the barbarian lands. Now that my son is born, I have rallied my banners to ride to war against them.
Wait here, Lorath. You can join me when it's finished.
You're going to kill her, aren't you?
I will do what is right.
We are all counting on you.
These faces are supposed to represent a Nephilim king? A god?
Prophet told you about me.
Oh, I had almost forgotten about that. It is just that I am so used to it now. It seemed so strange at the beginning.
Was it about my faith?
No, not that. But I really should not say. It was told to me in confidence, after all.
Let's see where you've been hiding, Malthael.
Adria.
The angels will never suffer us to live. They cannot accept the fact that we may choose our own path. At least demons are not so rigid in their beliefs. My master will return.
Not soon enough to save you.
Power in my blood sings to me. Diablo will return. I have done what I can to ensure it. He always finds a way. In your heart of hearts, you know this.
Before she died, Adria conjured an image of pandemonium.
She was searching for Malthael, so he must be there.
See? Aren't you happy I didn't tell you beforehand that Adria would turn into a hideous monster?
Why would that make me happy?
You always seem so calm. I thought you'd enjoy a surprise or two. Petty details would have just served to distract you.
I heard Liza's voice again, and I could make out more of what she was saying. She is calling out for me, but it sounds as though the voice is speaking to me from far away, from beyond our world.
You saw her body. She is gone.
I do not understand it, but I know she is out there, and she needs me.
It seems our friend Malthael is in pandemonium.
No doubt he has gone to the fortress. Malthael can hold out there until the end of time. He is forcing us to come to him.
He's clever, delaying us while his power grows with each moment.
The only way to Pandemonium is through the high heavens. Let us leave at once.
Oh, it's not through a sewer?
What is this?
Destroy the gate! The Nephilim is here!
Dares to attack us?
Set foot in the high heavens again. Now that Diablo is gone, I hear the song of the Seraphim clear as day.
Malthael is my brother. I fought 1,000 battles by his side, and I care not that he seeks to destroy you and your kind. But my brother has grown sick, and he must be put down for his own sake. Yet I have not the heart to do this. And so it falls to you. Come, Nephilim, to Pandemonium.
Malthael tried to keep me from entering Pandemonium. I must be moving faster than he anticipated. Now I will cross this wilderness, past the wreckage of countless battles between angel and demon. Somewhere out there is the Pandemonium Fortress, where the Angel of Death waits for me.
There is a siege camp not far from here. Meet me there, and I will show you what must be done. Patience is not one of my virtues, Nephilim. We do not have the luxury of time. Do you see the battering ram below? That is the only way you can breach the fortress gates. But it is useless without the siege rooms that power it. You have one in your possession, but there are two more. You will find them on the battlefield below, imprisoned along with the demons that carried them. Once you have the runes, go to the ram. But know this, Nephilim. Even if you release Malthael from his madness, I will not thank you for it.
That would be asking too much.
I thought on what you said, and you may have been right. Can't bear the thought of another friend's death.
Good point. Better to spend your life alone, with no friends at all. Much better that way.
Do you ever just say something like a normal person? But you have a point.
Dirges was possessed by an all-consuming rage. As Zai had stolen what was most valuable to Dirges, he would take from Zai all that he held dear.
Zai deserved whatever he got. Did Dirges kill him?
Dirges took something much more dear than Zai's life. His joy. He killed everyone Zai had loved and held dear. Oh. Then he slew Lyria. Her light went out from the heavens. The seas wept, and the waves of their tears crashed upon the shore. In the end, Zai trapped Dirges in the ruby Lyria had worn. Zai kept the stone around his neck as a reminder. In time, though, the burden grew too great to bear, and he cast off the stone. His divinity? Everything. Where there once stood a young god, there was now just an old man.
An old man, you say?
So the story says.
When I was forced to admit my beliefs were wrong, I was lost. I was afraid I would always feel that way. But instead, a sense of calmness has come over me. I'm no longer at war with myself.
A false belief will hold you back in the same way a true belief will set you free. Now you have your freedom, Cormac.
Despite all of this, I find myself with hope for the future.
Ha! You're talking about Irena.
No! No, of course not. I do find her company stimulating. Yeah, I do enjoy her unique way of looking at things, but... I mean, no.
I'd wager she'd be interested to know you've left your vows behind. You should tell her.
What? Well, you know... I mean, she is quite interesting. So, yeah, I suppose so. Perhaps I should. Maybe. You, mentioned that I should speak with Irena. I don't think I can do that.
Ah, pity. So Lyndon has a second chance with her.
What? That cad? Oh, she's already seen right through his lecherous ways. Surely he'd have no luck. Would he?
Perhaps you will grow to admire his persistence and his courage. Come, friend, you face death every day. Irena won't kill you, probably.
Leave me alone. I'm getting drunk, and no, I'm not sharing.
Talk to Hadrig about that dagger. You still don't know who killed your brother.
Oh, give it a rest! The bloody Thieves Guild did it.
You don't know that.
And you don't know when to leave a man to his drink.
Irena? I, was... Never mind. It was of no importance.
Cormac.
Yes. Well, Irena, I just wish to inform you that, I've left the Order. I'm no longer a Templar, nor bound by their rules.
What are you saying?
I would like it if... I mean, when this is over, would you consider, adventuring at my side?
Of course I would. I would be honored to fight alongside you. I feel as close to you as I did to my sisters.
Oh. Yes, of course. Sisters, indeed.
Deckard Cain wrote much about the Pandemonium Fortress. He kept meticulous notes, drew sketches, and even made some maps. But nothing matches what is there now. The fortress has changed so much since Malthael took over. The people of Westmarch are starting to rebuild the city and bury their dead. Their strength is an inspiration. But there are children that witnessed their family being torn apart. Others climbed over piles of corpses to get to safety. What will they make of the world when they grow up? The city has scars that will linger for generations.